Welcome to Daggers and Shadow Daddies.
We're your hosts, Ryan and Adriana. Close your legs and open your book. Let's get to reading.
Warning, this podcast contains explicit content.
It's about to get nasty.
It's all vibes and no facts.
Let's get to spoiling.
Wait, no, these are spoiler-free episodes.
Not the way I do it.
I've only been a part of one other book club before this one.
I've never been a part of a book club.
I joined one that was local. They were reading some self-help book. And I remember that I was really struggling with making new friends, moving to the city that you were in, that I then moved with you. And we had our kids, and getting an opportunity to have someone watch them wasn't very often. And it was supposed to be open to bringing your kids with you. And I show up and there are all these stay-at-home moms without their kids, except for me. And it was really odd. And it also felt like a huge class difference. And I just felt so out of place. I don't know how to describe it.
You were with the upper class people in that town.
Yeah, it was very unwelcoming and very confusing. And I couldn't relate in any way. And even the book choices, I'm like, oh, goodness, this is just book clubs. Am I right?
Was it all self-help books?
No, they rotated through a bunch of them, but I kind of thought it would be a really nice way to connect with other people because, I don't know, just trying to make friends in some way. And that never worked out. So, yeah, I guess boo-hoo. But then we come here and I hear about another book club. And this time I hear about them reading smutty books. And I'm like, oh, I really want be a part of this book club, try to make some friends again. And the timing just never worked out. I'm like, we can start our own. And that's, how we got to this point.
That is how we got here.
And the amount of people that I get the connection that I was wanting the entire time from doing it online and getting that freedom with it has been so amazing. And that's where we met. My book, Bestie Said It's Good podcast, and they read along with us with The Knight and the Moth. They only went to chapter 24, and it was such an amazing time to read a book with people that you connect with, and it was so comfortable talking with them. It was so easy, and it didn't feel awkward. It was just that connection that I have always wanted out of a book club.
I've listened to every episode of their podcast, so I thought it was super cool from my perspective of just being a fan of theirs.
Yeah.
And then getting to interact with them was really neat.
So they joined us in this upcoming episode, and I'm going to leave it to you to introduce each of them.
Let's start from left to right as we saw them. We have Rena, who a lot of people don't know this, but she's been to prison a few times.
No.
No? Oh, okay. Well, she reads books that you should go to jail for liking.
Oh, I'm following her TBR list for you and our Grandma Smut Corner. I think so far we're 2 for 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I know Ice Planet Barbarians was one of hers.
Yes.
And she read that, and I listened to her review of it, and I was like, oh, I don't want to read that even a little bit. And then you were like, hey, guess what you're reading this week, guy? So I got to read Ice Planet Barbarians. Not the worst book I've ever read. So I do trust her far more now than I did initially. Also,
good.
She is writing her own book, I believe.
Yeah.
I think she's also writing a book. So that'll be really cool. We're going to move to the middle. Anna was in the middle, and she's like their you.
Yes.
She comes off a little anxious, but very organized. And the books that she likes are similar to you. It's fantasy romance. I think it's primarily romance with some fantasy mixed in there. But yeah, she also is going to prison.
Nope.
Never mind. All right, fine. She's not going to prison at all.
In.
All right, fine. It was really fun to talk with them and see the areas where you and her are so similar. You and she are so similar? I don't know grammatically how that should work.
It's not my
place to correct. And I use the word grammatically because I also don't feel like that's a real word. But I feel like I should have more to say.
We don't need a long
After she bucked her cocaine addiction.
No.
Okay. All right. Then we move on to Trisha, I learned a lot about her. She reviews books similar to the way that I do.
Yes, it's really fascinating to see you guys review a book, and I think your rating style is very similar.
It's 100% the same, and I appreciate it so much. All right, so Trish also went to prison.
Nope.
Okay,
This is not.
all right, nobody's gone to prison for anything. They're lame.
Or coke addiction.
Well, I don't even know why you introduced that again.
What?
That's insane. How dare you? Trish likes literary fiction. The episode was super fun, though. They all kept a great attitude, and they were willing to record with us what was their Sunday night, an hour early Sunday morning.
Yes. And just a little heads up, Rena's mic was having some issues. I did my best to recover it, but I still think it's a great episode, and hope you guys enjoy.
I can just think like our neighbors are gonna hate. Like if they.
This might be for the best, because I read a book this week that I specifically read knowing I was going to speak to you. And I gotta tell you, I'm gonna be glad that I won't be able to hear you talking to me about it.
Uh-oh. Which book?
I read Ice Planet Barbarians this week.
Okay. So how?
Honestly, it was fine. It wasn't overly smutty. Like it was, but not really. It didn't have a real purpose from the beginning.
Yeah, there's no points. That's not.
Yeah, nothing really happens.
Yeah.
Other than she gets, not to spoil this for you, Adrian.
No, it's okay.
She gets pregnant. That's kind of that's the only thing that really happens in the book.
That's kind of like the whole series. They have like this breathing kink kind of, I
Yeah.
think. And all of them get pregnant at some point. It's not to spoil you, but yeah.
Yeah, no. You're still going to want to pick it up. But he kind of waits to mention it to her until almost the end of the book.
Wait, he tells her she's pregnant?
Well, she's going to get that way.
Oh.
Interspecies commingling.
So
Yeah.
she knew and she didn't know this.
Yeah,
What?
she didn't know it was possible, so she was not like protecting herself, I guess. How can you protect yourself when you're in an ice planet? Anyway, it doesn't make sense either way. But she
She's
thought it
like,
was
I got a
not
garbage bag back on the ship. But it honestly was not the worst book I've read in the last few months. I walked away from that
Good.
one being like, man, I was nervous. And it was pretty good, honestly.
I liked reading it. It was fun, like just the concept.
The concept of breed kinking? Okay.
I'm going to have to be with you on that one.
I think just overall seeing how it would play out of just like, this isn't my thing, but I'm fascinated.
Exactly.
Intrigued.
I think that's exactly it. I'm also thinking about how the baby would look. Would it be
Yeah.
human? Would it be blue?
He's
Yes.
enormous, right? Also,
Yeah.
are we considering we don't know gestation and how that works with him. Like, if she's going to give birth to a 40-pound toddler.
It's gonna be in the second book there they talk about this, I think. And it's 9 months as well. So I don't know how it's gonna
There's a
come.
second book.
Yeah, there's
I
like
think there's a whole
40
series.
books. There's like 40 books.
40?
And I read like 3 of them and I was like, it's fine. They're all the same, really. Like not much is happening besides the smut and the breathing.
You can only read 14 books about blue penis and feel a certain way about it.
Yeah, that's my quota.
So there's no change of colors of kinks. It's all the same? Okay.
It's just with different aliens.
Yeah.
It's like,
But it's all the girls from the ship.
yes. No, but then it started.
All of the...
But if it's 40 books, they were like 6 books.
But I think there's also other planets.
Plus 3
Yeah.
that were in stasis, though. There was like 6 of them, and then 3 of them were still asleep. And then they woke them up so that they could get pregnant.
Um,
Uh-huh.
Hope they woke up.
Um,
Wow.
that's funny.
Very confusing.
Yeah, they wanted them to, because they had like a population problem. They don't have enough planets, so they saw them as like an opportunity to populate.
So they outsourced.
Yeah.
Smart.
Very
It's
Yeah.
something.
How are you enjoying the book, by the way?
Yeah. I am loving it. I already know I'm giving this a 5-star already. I can tell. I don't think Ryan's going to be, though.
Well, I don't know how it ends. I'm not going to commit to a rating right now. It could all go to shit in the next few chapters.
It could.
Very true.
And what about you guys?
I read this book, or I'm listening to the audiobook, and
Yep.
I started 2 days ago. So it was a marathon, and I am afraid that I'm not going to be, what is the word? Fair?
No,
But I am enjoying. I think it's going to be probably like a 4-star,
Yeah.
but like a low 4. Yeah.
Is it because of the FMC?
No, she's fine. It's just
Adequate.
she's not annoying, you know? She's fine. I guess it's just because this is a recipe in romanticides that you see a lot.
Yes.
And I like the writing, I like the story, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just it's been done a lot. And that's the only reason why I wouldn't give it a higher rating, is because it doesn't feel new to me. That's it.
I myself am enjoying it. I just have an issue with the romance. I feel like
yeah.
it was maybe too soon. However, I do have a theory, and if it's true, then it might be okay.
I actually am enjoying the book, like,
Fully.
yeah, fully. I mean, even I know what you mean about the romance, though, and I feel it too, because I feel like at some point it switches from them kind of not liking each other to bam, attraction, boom, you know? And it's like, did I miss a chapter? At some point I was like, but I still feel a bit of earning, which I like. And I'm enjoying the story a lot. And I like the fact that the writing is also good. And also it's kind of slow paced, but at the same time not. I don't
Yeah. The main plot is kind of slow, but there are a lot of things happening in the middle.
Because, I think this last little batch of chapters, because did you guys just go to chapter 24?
Yes.
Awesome. Because I think this last little batch of chapters that we did is where a lot of people are feeling like it got pretty dry. It was getting really slow when I was looking at a lot of the reviews. And I can definitely see that, because it's, all right, we have to get to the next omens. And we have a lot of sitting around and making all these plans. And there isn't moving forward in the romance and actually building that relationship. Because I can completely see that.
It's focusing a lot on the romance.
mind that at all. So
Yeah.
Be fair, though, the romance did not exist really until a few chapters ago.
From
I want-
her end, I thought he always liked her. And he was
Exactly.
denial of
Exactly.
it.
Same.
And
I
she
felt-
really liked his attention.
Yeah.
Because she was nude in front of him a few times while also saying, like, I don't like you. Well, she's just, like, completely nude 2 days ago in front of him.
This woman
Yeah.
drowns for a living. I don't her decision making. Okay. I want the whole book about the gargoyle. That's it.
Yes.
Oh, same. I love the gargoyle.
He's the
I want the gargoyle.
I think the whole. Yeah, well, you know what?
I
We
want-
don't need to dig too much further into it, but maybe. What did you mean by that?
No.
Exactly.
a friend like gargoyle.
Okay.
Like, I don't want
Making sure.
friend zoning the gargoyle. Well,
Rena's over there like she's always rock hard.
Yes.
It's for
Quite another book.
I agree. I think the whole series should just be about the gargoyle, and then once in a while they could be like, "Hey, the girl whose eyes are always covered over there with the depressed nut." Stuff.
And what's her fixation with his earrings? I don't get it. She's always like the guy with the 3 earrings
And the charcoal.
and the charcoal eye.
Yeah.
He's got guy liner earrings. He's a pirate.
So it's last chapters that we learned that they all put it on before they
Yes.
go on their mission, right? So what I got from that is he's doing this every day. Every other night is like, well, we're not going on a mission. We're just hanging out. And he's like, no, I'm committed to the bit. I'm putting this on every single day.
I think he's
It's
just sad
probably
and
just
sulky.
part of his morning routine.
Yeah.
You know,
Gets
like
up,
skincare.
brushes his teeth, and then
Exactly.
guy liner.
Mhm.
He's like, you guys ready to go for an adventure? They're like, not today. And he's like, fine. And he like kicks the ground a little bit as he strolls away. He's all bummed out. I think Rory's very funny, but I do love that she's so focused on the earrings, the guy liner, and then making fun of his teeth.
Yeah.
Like, as somebody with fucked up teeth, it's a
Yeah.
little bit at first, it was like vindicating. She's like, oh, his smile is so unique. And then gradually it was like, yeah, show me them crooked little chiclets. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, bite me.
Yeah. Yeah. Where would you bite me? And then she brings up the boob. Now, I'm not a woman. I only know one woman. Never have I considered the fact that somebody might want to be bit hard enough to leave a mark on the boob.
Well, yeah, because she's taunting him like here, 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 and then his breathing is getting rapid. I was just like, well, obviously he likes this. And she's like, I
But
wonder what he's thinking.
I don't know, like, why you asked that, because you just said she drowns for a living. Like,
This is true.
She's a
You know what?
masochist.
You're not wrong.
so
She- Rory's putting on his gimp suit. Just, I'm ready, Divider. He's so funny. She's just stepping on him a little bit.
Well, he seems like he'd be into it anyways. He says he would do anything she asks.
Yeah, Rory needs to get his shit together.
They are both a little bit submissive. I don't know. Maybe this is one of those couples that would break up after the book, you know, because
I don't know. I'm not ready to say yes
yeah,
or no
yeah,
to
it's
that
too
yet.
early.
What a great question, though. I never considered any of them would break up until right now. I'm like, wait a minute.
I know it's too early. They're not even together.
Have we considered that maybe they could just bring Maud in as the third, more dominant individual?
That's the mummy they need.
Yes.
You know what?
smart.
Yes. Thanks.
He's had this little spin-off story this whole time of Maud and Six are actually having a thing together. And then after he planted that seed, I can see it that if there was fan fiction about this, Maud is the one that finished doing the beeswax in the sensitive areas. Maud is the one that took her measurements and brought her armor. Maud was the one I think that helped her with her shoes at some point. Maud was the one that was just like, hey, we're going to help you get a bath. Like, you obviously stink. We needed to get this done. I'm like, oh my God, there is a sideline here that could play out, but no, we're ignoring this.
Yeah. Well, she finishes what he starts.
Yes.
Finally, the diviner gets to finish because that was also brought up.
Yeah. What did you guys think of that with her past lovers?
I mean, I don't know. She was always sacrificing herself for everyone, and she's lacking.
Yep.
You know,
I think she just wanted the experience, but she'd never really thought about what it could bring her.
I just think this is something very common in romance that nobody else ever made you finish, but then this guy comes and he's the special one and he's the one that I'm gonna like. I when I read it, I was like, okay, sure. Like, I don't know.
It's like the way to the FMC's heart is through her clitoris. Really landed there.
Quite literally. I feel like this is a team. This is something like, I don't know. I didn't think much of it because of that. I'm just so used to it.
here we go again. The lady who can't come.
You can tell she's special because she never smiles. Men do nothing for her. I honestly, to be fair, I'm really enjoying this book, though. I beat it up a little bit, but mostly because of the gargoyle.
Yes. That has been the one thing that's kept you in this book, I would say.
But I think she started feeling more romantic feelings. I don't know if I should call it romantic. In chapter 19, when they went in the hot springs and got steamy, but not really, right?
But he was going away and she said, like, no, my bag. Oh my God, you have to.
True.
You have to treat
It's like, okay, not gonna touch you. And she's like, oh, my back hurts so much.
I thought this was for my benefit. We were in the car listening to this, and because I was trying to get my notes ready for this meeting, and I'm re-listening, and we get to the end, and I never picked this up. And she's like, "Are you coming?" And he's just like, "No, I need a minute." And I was like, "I think I need a minute from what that just was."
They're always giggling. I was like,
But it was also in this one that he lets her fall underwater, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he grabs her foot and she goes under and immediately starts drowning.
Hmm.
You do what you know. Start sucking up
It's
the
true.
water.
She never
Muscle
learned.
memory.
She never learned to like not swallow the water or not, you know.
Just close your mouth.
Yeah, but it will go through the nose.
What?
But she never had to. That's the thing.
Didn't she take a shower in the bathtub?
No.
I don't
No,
know.
they went over this. She smells terrible and her feet are always dirty.
Why does he like her? Oh, I love your stinky smell.
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
He does?
But her
Yes, he
attitude
does.
is
The last
awful.
part of
I love a superficial man.
her attitude. I wanted you to to explore more the her attitude is awful bit.
Oh no.
So
Fight.
she's sort of, so when we start off, she's good to her diviners. She's really rude to the gargoyle. She's rude about the knights. When she meets Maud in the hallway, she's an asshole. And then she goes, oh, I felt like I should apologize. And then I remembered that I'm a diviner and she's a knight. So she's, fuck her. And then
But that's how she's taught.
Mm-hmm.
it is unfortunate, but I don't think that makes her not an asshole.
Yeah,
I
of
think
course.
she's justifiably a bit of an ass.
Yeah.
And she doesn't really become not an asshole until she requires people's help to find her diviners and those sort of things. So I don't really like her that much.
I
But I
took it
like
as
everybody
she's
around her.
changing, though.
Yeah.
I think she will become a good character. I think she will become a character that I do like. I like her character now. I don't enjoy her character's personality. Does that make sense?
I think so.
She's well written. She's just not likable to me.
I understand, but again, it's like it's justifiable, as you said, because it's her background. She doesn't even remember her life before going into that place. I don't remember the
Cathedral?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
thingy before going to Aisling. So everything she knows is what the woman taught her. You know
She has like the superiority.
exactly.
She's an asshole, but I mean, yeah, she's still an asshole.
Yeah, and she's kind of like she is supportive to her friends, but she always wants to be better than them anyways. So she kind of already has that superiority in herself, in her personality.
And the other ones were also they went through the same things as her, but they are not assholes like her.
Because they're
Because she has a standards.
She's got to match the abyss's energy.
Yes.
Mm.
You have to match the energy, you know?
And at one point, she even tries to act like the abbess. She was doing some type of role that was, it was when Rory was getting his divination. She's like, I'm going to say this like her. Like she was trying to be just like the abbess.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think she was just trying to make sure that everything went so the ceremony was exactly as it's supposed to be.
Yes.
That at least that's how I saw it. Because
I think
I don't
that's
know.
fair.
When she was trying to do it, I was like, oh, something's going to go wrong because you're not the one doing it, you know? And I don't know how that works.
No, and I think that's really fair because I think the gargoyle didn't say the words right. And she notes that, like, oh, that didn't go exactly the same as it normally does.
But being mean to the gargoyle is shit.
I don't think
He's,
mean.
well,
Ah,
she
well,
could be nicer.
She
to the
wasn't
gargoyle.
being her nicest.
Everybody should
then.
be very, very nice to the gargoyle.
I think she at some point says, like, I don't know, I don't remember the exact words, but she says that she could be nicer to him because he is always there.
They all treat him like a child.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, they infantilize him.
Definitely, yeah. And to be honest, I didn't notice that she was an a-hole, but yeah, she. Now that you're telling me all of this, I'm like, you're so right. Yes.
That's how I was too until Ryan started pointing out. I'm like, no, she's not. He's like, yeah, let's go through the list that I've had. So I'm like, oh.
Also, I forgot to ask, you guys are not an explicit podcast. I will tone down my everything, really.
Oh, it's fine.
No,
But-
first
fine.
of all,
Sure.
this
I don't
this
want
is-
to cost you guys a corner of your people or anything.
You don't know. First of all, like this is going to be in your side, right?
This one, yeah.
This one is going to be on your side.
yeah,
So
hey, that's true.
we have to be here, like these fuckers, and
There we
saying
go.
all exactly. So we have to step it up. It's just muscle memory because we sometimes try to not say these words, but you have no idea how much we have to cut out from our episodes because, yeah,
I knew
Yeah.
that we stood no chance. So I was just like, nope, we just gotta. Well, and even with the explicit podcast thing, I accidentally labeled ourselves as a porn account on the Patreon because I was like, we're explicit. And there's on Patreon 2 options. There's explicit podcast content, and then there's explicit Patreon content. And so you had to be 18 years or older to be able to just view our page. You're like, oh, I think we're now labeled as a porn account. So I had to go into the, like, send them my ID to prove, like, I swear there's no nudity on this channel. And then Ryan's like, well, I mean,
I'm not,
Exactly. Like
$3
you're
is
already,
$3. Okay.
you're already registered as such. Like just make use of it.
just saying,
Right.
a porno account on Patreon called Shadow Daddies would have success.
I think it probably would.
That's true. That's
We need to hire other talent, though, guys. Okay. We're going to get $3 and a bunch of complaints. That's all it's going to be. Like, why does he keep showing his butthole? Get him out of here.
That's where the shadow comes from.
Well done.
Thank you.
So you guys are starting a Patreon too, then?
No.
3 girls, 1 podcast.
Oh my God.
You know, this picture of the sofa, dudes on the back. Our microphones here, and
Oh my God. I love it.
Oh, man.
So yeah,
The book,
did you
right?
guys have any other like main points that have been on your mind that you wanted to share?
There's a lot of finger sucking in this book. It was
Huh?
weird. Like all
In
of the
this one?
times they put their
Ah.
thumbs on their mouths.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
it wasn't like sucking. I was like, what?
There was.
That-
It's not the way I do it. Get out of here.
How hard they're biting to draw blood. And she doesn't make it seem like it's painful at all. I'm like, no, that sounds like it's really gonna hurt.
he bit himself when he was going to drown. No, when she was going to read.
When he was
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And, like he bit himself, and I was like, "Hello, that hurts as hell." Yeah. Mhm.
But he acted like it's just something that he does occasionally.
so maybe like
A few of them are sharp.
Here.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like he has a part that is really sharp.
Yeah.
should
Also,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really funny that her fighting tools, or that her weapons are the tools. I imagine her with her hammer and she's on just tick, 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 tick. Like, it doesn't look like something you used to fight.
But the thing is that those are specific to the rocks.
Yeah.
From Aisling, so I think it makes them kind of like special as the coin, like
It's just the image in my head.
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of
Yes.
thing that she uses to like literally
Mm-hmm.
work on rocks.
Yeah, just give me a second.
with this.
Give me a second. Let me attack you. I don't know.
I'm going to give this gargoyle bangs. And he just keeps
That would be very funny. Yeah. That would be very
Well,
funny.
In the beginning, I thought these were really big items, like a very big hammer, a decent sized chisel, because I thought she was taking down a wall initially. And then Ryan's like, oh, no, she's doing like detail work to this wall. So then I'm picturing more finer tools, and then she's using it as a weapon. And the hammer, I don't know, she took out his knee, I think, for one of the people, smashed him in the face. So it's almost like Hulk hammer level power that's coming from this.
What hammer does the Hulk wield?
Actually, I didn't see it that way. I saw it as the fact that those tools are specific to a Bess, and we already know that she's probably the Moth,
Yes.
and so there's like a connection between those tools and the rocks, and since all of the omens are from the water, those waters, it has like, it makes sense if you hit them with those tools, it will make something. So if
It would be more
you would use
effective.
those, exactly. So if she would use those tools, I don't know, in Rory, it would probably not work. Depends.
In Rory. Whoa. Get ready, Rory. Here comes the chisel.
Shameless plug between chapters.
Want more daggers and shadow daddies? Get a month ahead of where you're at right now. Sign up for 1 month on Patreon and then cancel that shit after you binged it.
That was great.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. I know how their advertisements work, and this is what I wish they did. It was only 5 seconds long.
Because, yeah, I was wondering if maybe they were magical tools and the hammer and chisel were the tools that were used to make, like, the coin, the chime, like, if they were the ones that were used.
I also,
And that they're magical in some way.
Stand by.
that's my
She's
thing.
going to fashion that coin into a cock ring for Rory. It's going to...
I heard that whole bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we haven't published that yet. Nobody knows that. We got theories going.
And then it just throws the cock ring in the air.
And it's a 50-50. If it lands on one side, it keeps going until it runs out of momentum. The other side, it destroys things. You never know what you're going to get. It's a little roulette. But are you guys a little shocked that she never used this chisel and hammer to, like, take the eyes out of these people as she was beating them down? Because they're magic stone eyeballs, right?
Does she get close enough?
Well, yeah, they kill these people. Afterward,
well,
they're pretty
she-
stationary.
At least for the second one, she didn't get close because she was then going into the water. So the first one was the guy in the library, and I don't remember, not a library, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The guy with the
It's
knowledge.
a library. He's a scribe fellow.
Yeah. It was his house, but in my head, it was a full-on library. In that scene, I don't know. Was she,
She
like...
use it?
She did use it.
Yeah.
She was the one who kind of helped them out because
Yeah.
throwing the ink at them. And it's,
Yep.
So she was the one who
She did something, but I think it was the knee. No? I think she did it in the knee.
took down. Like she
Yeah, no? I think so. I thought you were giving me that.
I don't know. It's just so funny.
I was just like, oh, they have stone eyeballs. She has stone working tools. Like, I don't know. I thought that would be kind of funny. But then I also
Well,
have a
she has the
theory.
water.
Oh, yes.
What is your theory?
My theory is that Rory has a Sprite fetish, and she's got stone eyeballs.
Oh.
You're gonna
He
get
has a
some-
Sprite.
I also...
Don't you worry about it. They're going to agree with you.
I agree with the eyeballs because of the... I think it was 4. No, it was 1, I think. She looked in the mirror. She said, what the hell did they do to us?
So it can't be good.
I think I might agree with the eyeballs.
And
But
Rory looks at her and says, most beautiful girl I've ever seen when he sees her eyeballs.
when I heard that, I was like, what? I thought he would be like, it's like he would not be repulsed by it or whatever.
But he would comment.
Yes, but
Mm.
not like, oh, you're the most beautiful thing
Maybe like
saw. And I'm like,
stones.
But we don't know yet.
Yeah, or whatever is there.
Yes, this was the worst chapter to end on. I was so upset at the end. I'm like, God damn it. I was
Really?
having a conversation about what her eyes looked like because everyone's so shocked and
They're rocks.
horrified.
They're definitely rocks, or they're just gone.
Oh,
She
no.
got blank sockets, which would be really funny.
It would be terrifying.
But it would be
Would be
hilarious
really-
if Rory's like gorgeous.
Would be really overpowered against these things that eat.
Right?
Should be really
Yeah,
strong.
see? I think we're slowly sliding to the same side, right, guys?
You still haven't explained the Sprite fetish.
Yeah.
Well, if she's got stone eyeballs, the sprites are in large part made of rocks we've seen so far, right? We got the rock boar, we got 23 gargoyles.
It's the
He looks at her eyeballs and he's like,
Mount,
God
yeah,
damn
the
it.
mountain sprite
Yes.
is. You're right. The trees. What'd you guys think of the tree sprites?
So creepy.
Yeah.
Really creepy.
but they were made of trees. Like I thought they're made of not literally woods, but yeah, they're made of skin, like of
Yeah.
I don't know.
The old skin tree used to mean something different.
Oh.
No? No.
But I do have a pity for the sprites.
Oh,
No.
pity, yeah.
Yeah, because they are
seem to
starving.
actually have a horrible life. Yeah.
Why do they starve? Like, I don't.
Yeah, I think it's the same. I think it's like a chain. So, for example, the abyss makes the omens starve, and the omens make like the sprites starve, and so on. You know?
But who makes
Oh.
the starve? If not
Yeah, it's the people. Okay, so the omens make the people starve, and then the people
who
make
have
the
command.
yeah,
Since here and then, people are just exploiting each other.
exactly.
For money. So this is a anti-capitalism book, actually.
That's what I want to
And
know what
religion.
his thoughts are. Why is the abbess having these omens and the diviners? And then why are the sprites starving? I don't think I'm real. I think
She wants to make the Stonewater Kingdom great again.
stop.
I put people in positions
Stop.
that don't know anything about what they're doing. You get an inkwell, you don't know how to write.
True.
It's all the same nonsense.
See, these are the answers that I'm getting from him. I can't figure this out on my own. I'm like, I think I'm supposed to already know what the whole thing is. Like, why are the sprites starving? Like, are the
It's power. You
omens?
exercise
Yeah.
power over
Yeah,
these things.
I think it's power.
But what does if they don't see? The thing is, I also don't understand, because what is the benefit of starving them? Like,
After all, I think.
I think it's to scare people as well. So, for example, if people are afraid of the sprites, their only concern in life is going to be the sprites, and not that they're probably being exploited or not making enough money, or, you know?
All of these other people are championing this nonsense because if you control the sprites, you control the people. The abbess controls the omens.
Because no, I couldn't connect it because you have these 5 craftsmen. They show up. They're like, we have a problem. We need to solve it. And that's a song almost, isn't it?
It's a Hook and Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as I said it, I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds like a song. So they all come together. She then shows up with a child that was never referenced again. She just showed up to that moment with a child in hand. And
Oh,
wait, what was that?
Yeah, Bartholomew. I think so.
Bartholomew.
Barthol? I don't know.
That's how they say it in the audiobook. Little B.
Would be incredible. But yeah, I wasn't understanding, like, why did she show up? Why did she get involved in all of this? And what's like, yeah, I
wants
guess
power.
she already had the magic.
See, there's a
Another
B.O.B. song.
another reference.
She's got the magic.
Got the magic in me.
Yes. But yeah, I guess all power just to be, and she is the most powerful person so far.
I think that's kind of just the point of rich and powerful people anyway. They just want more.
Yeah.
They don't want anybody to be their boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's what she represents, and people come to her and seek for her and pay her, and it's like this.
She's like a god.
Yeah, huh?
Yes.
I want
Like
to
a-
take a quick step back to your Bartholomew statement, young lady. That's awesome. Sorry.
Never
Young
once did
lady.
we guess anything remotely like that.
That's so good. An idiot.
This is just my theory.
But I think
Thought about that,
I didn't, but I think you might be right.
but I thought, because I see that the gargoyle has this, like he says a lot of times, that he has some problem in remembering things as well, because he has been through a lot of diviners a lot of times. So I'm thinking that he keeps calling them by the first diviner's name. So that's why I think
Mhm.
the
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense.
the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question with that. We were given a specific number of gargoyles. We know that for the most part, the diviners are just gradually sacrificed to all of the other omens. If they maintain 6 diviners, there are 5 omens. Do you think the 6th diviner, whichever one is the best one, gets turned into like a gargoyle or something more permanent for the abbess's service?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good.
I-
That's a very good point. And I think we're also discussing this because we were wondering if the abbess gets at some point replaced, and that's why she always has a favorite one. But then we thought, but it doesn't make sense because, like the omens, she's also kind of immortal. So what happens to the sixth was the six?
And then we also thought that maybe the abbess does what the other omens do and eats the one that has more water in her. So because
I wondered that as well, because that was kind of my first thought, but that kind of went out the window when I was like, well, she could just kind of go get a cup of spring water if she wanted.
Okay. These were trivia questions that I didn't put together. I'll ask you guys, see if you guys remember. How many gargoyles are at Ashling, I don't know how to pronounce it, Cathedral at the beginning of the book?
No, I don't know.
Options?
I feel pressured.
No, I'll give you some options even, and then I'll just say the answer. 6, 12, 18, 23.
Maybe 12. Because I know that they are quite a lot. Like
There's 23 of them.
wow.
So there's 23, and then later, I did another trivia question, and it wasn't until you just said this, Ryan. Approximately how many years ago did the 5 craftsmen come together to find a leader? 230 years ago.
The math adds up.
By 10. Yeah.
The math adds up.
So each of them turns into a gargoyle, maybe.
One of them. Only one of them.
Yeah. Every 10 years.
Every 10 years, one of them, the strongest one.
Mm-hmm. Why? Why a gargoyle? To protect the yeah.
Maybe they all develop individual special skills. Maybe they weren't all given the hammer and chisel. Like Bartholomew had keys, and he was really good at remembering where keys are supposed to be.
Is the gargoyle Bartholomew?
That's what I'm thinking. That was his name, and didn't forget it.
Yes.
Do all the gargoyles do it, though? Or just this one?
But wait, if he was a diviner, he supposedly did not remember his name as 4, as 6,
Yeah.
as our 6. But maybe he does remember as 6, and then it's the only thing that stays with him when he's turned.
Yeah, maybe his brain is slowly turning into a rock, and that's why he's weird with words.
It could be. Or it's the language evolution.
Ooh, that's true. Couple hundred years, early days. That would be cool too. I want a second book that's just about
You're
like how
getting
the
a
world
second
moves.
book, but it's not.
Yeah.
That's not for me.
You're going to have probably Rory and 6 in there again.
What if Bartholomew is a girl? Because the diviners are always girls. Oh, what if he was the first diviner?
That's what she just said earlier.
That's not 100% correct, because all the foundlings, there are also male foundlings. They just don't choose them. So
Right.
The women are the weaker.
that take more pain. They're able to take more
Doesn't
pain.
mean that the guy was not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've learned from their mistakes. We're done choosing the boys.
Maybe.
Because Rory was also
He was a foundling.
weak enough and able to tolerate.
Yeah.
Because of him,
And that's one of my theories.
Is foundling just a euphemism, though? Not a euphemism. Yes. But not euphemism, whatever the other word would be. English is my first language, and I don't know. So.
yes, it is. I think so, right? Or it's like, I think it's just called that because they call the orphanage. Oh my god.
Orphans.
Yes.
No,
They don't call it
Orphanage.
orphanages. They don't
They
call
call it foundling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
School.
why they are the foundlings, because they are the people that are there.
Yeah.
I like it.
What does foundling?
They're just
Found child.
found children is what we came up with.
Yeah, they found them somewhere.
Hey, has been a bad. It's
Yeah, it's an orphan.
Yeah.
And there's so many of them in this world. There were like 6 schools, and it was just for the girls when she was walking around.
Listen, Love Bug, there's a lot of foundlings in real life, too.
Maybe the sprites, eat them.
Yeah.
Eat the parents.
Yeah.
And then there's more children.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Hey, there you go. That's how they're keeping
And
them in
then,
mind. They're
then you
feeding
have
kid
the
every once in a
circle.
while.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not the kid, the parents.
Yeah, but to get kids.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, but he said they eat the kid.
I was treating it like veal.
They have
That's
like,
not what we were shooting for.
No.
Sorry. Oops.
But they're really hungry, so they should go for the bigger ones. It has more meat.
Yeah.
You know? It's not a gourmet question.
Rory's got all the meat.
Well, we saw one eating a horse, and it's only supposed to eat rock, but it chomped down on that horse.
There's rocks in its blood.
Mm.
Yeah, horses are. Well, we don't eat horses, but I would try one. I think I might be getting hungry. Awesome.
No.
Yeah.
That sounds okay. Well, all right, never mind.
Hey, that's true. That's true. That's true. That is true.
Hello, I am the vegan here. Hi.
Okay, well then we're not sharing a horse with you. No, I'm just kidding.
God damn it. I'll eat my tofu horse, no worries.
It's like the Gumby horse. You just shape it. So, do you know what I'm talking about? What was his name? Pokey.
I don't know.
I'm old. Ignore
I
me.
was going to say, that's a very old show.
Very old man.
If you guys
Okay.
want, I can go through some of the little chapter notes. And when going through the notes, it's really just intended to jog our memory. Like, if you want to interrupt me, you have any thoughts that pop in your head, please just interrupt me. That's what I expect of Ryan most of the time, is that I say something and he's just like, oh, no. This is how that was meant. So, in chapter 19, that's what we started on, right? Yes. This is when Rory took her to the hot springs. We've talked about that a little bit, and she admitted that she can't oh my God.
She can't swim.
And I see skinny dipping in the next one, and I'm trying to read ahead. I keep saying
She can't swim.
So they're skinny dipping, and at one point she's like, "Are you in pain?" And he's like, "Near you, always."
Always.
Which also could be kind of not a nice thing. No? Okay.
He's
I was
pain
wrong.
because he's containing himself, you know. He
His
wants
balls hurt.
It's the
Yeah.
only possible solution.
Mm. I think he hurts like inside. Like he wants to touch her, he wants to be with her, but he has to refrain himself. So it hurts.
Why?
I don't know.
Consent
Maybe
is important,
something's gonna
ladies.
happen.
He's so into consent.
Yes,
like
he's very.
What a
She
problem.
points
is.
that out often. The
What a-
consent part of he always just like waits at the door, like he's always waiting for permission. Like this is a huge piece of this.
But could it be because he's a foundling? He was taught to do what other people tell him to do.
I like that. It could also be, though, he just has a healthy understanding of people's personal
Yes.
boundaries.
I want to believe that.
nah.
Instead, it's all the abuse over the years. It's like, please, take my blood. What's the guy with the coins name again?
I don't remember their names. I get them all confused. The only one I can remember well is Ardent.
One of you had this.
Arthur's Brigand? No.
Ah, Artful
Brigand.
Artful Brigand.
Artful Brigand? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his.
What about it?
Who was the one with the coin?
Yeah, it was the one who taught Rory.
Yeah, about consent. That's it. That's all I had.
For stealing? For
Yeah, 'cause
stealing?
he's
Like
constantly
Rory
stealing.
just goes out and just, may I? And then he.
Why would it be so polite to? Pardon. Mi amor, may I take your coins?
Literally.
It's a romance book saying that it's attractive when a man asks for consent.
To be
It's
fair, I
not
do
just
think that's
romance.
something we could practice in real life as well.
Mhm.
Consent is
Yeah.
generally like kind of the thing.
Well, we
Look
had
at
a
us
book-
all agreeing.
Yeah, look at us. This is basic human rights. Look at us go. We did it.
Well, we had a book that we recently went over that it was one of your grandma's books because we're kind of doing this little mini series where we want like a week. And that's why Ryan read Ice Planet Barbarians. And then I read one of his grandmas, and the whole point of the book was him just being a good dad. And that was the bit, was he's doing dishes, he's doing these things, and we couldn't get past it. And I'm like, that's literally the standard. This isn't exceeding. And I kind of see it similar with the consent of this isn't exceeding anything. This is the bare minimum. This is our standard that we're starting at.
True. When the treatment you're used to is being forcibly drowned, I think it, you know. Dumb question though. She brings up how painful drowning is. Do any of us have opinion? Like, I've not drowned, obviously, but Have you guys been described as painful before?
Of course, you feel like
Yeah.
you're breathing water.
It burns.
Yeah.
The fuck's
Your
in that
lungs.
water?
Do you never when you go to the beach and, for example, by accident, like water gets into your nose, don't you feel like pain?
So I'm going to be two things we're going to touch on here. Little peek behind the kimono, if you will. We don't live anywhere near a beach.
We don't. But
Yeah.
even just going swimming
I don't
of
look like the
any
kind of guy that hangs
Yeah.
out.
Okay, to the
Never accidentally like took a breath
Yeah.
and like, ugh.
I've had like chlorine
Yeah.
burn my nose from a pool.
Yeah, now
But for the
imagine
most
that in
part-
your lungs.
Yeah, I didn't assume there was chlorine in the water. I guess it didn't occur to me that this would be. I guess
It's not
yeah.
a sweet, slow death.
yeah.
I really thought that drowning would be like the easiest way to go. Like if you
Oh,
just
no.
inhale a bunch of it real quick,
What?
you just go.
No.
I have
Without
You're
oxygen,
fucked up.
even. It's if you don't breathe in the water, then you're also just without oxygen. It's like holding your breath the whole time, and that burns.
yeah. That's what my whole game plan was. Just go inhale as much as I could and then let it go quick. I thought that was the game plan.
You might need to change your plan.
I'm gonna bring a toaster with me.
But that kind of gets into what happens in the scene because we have the naked pond massage that goes on, and then he grabs her foot and she goes under, has a moment. And it's not too long after that she's drowning. He saves her from the situation he put her in, and they have the whole bite scene. She says that she wanted him to bite her. She's like telling him, like, hey, I saw you back wherever. I think it was back at the cathedral, and this is what I was thinking. He's like, oh, you were thinking this. You know, I'm down. Tell me more. And then she's telling him more about this.
She's a weird one. Don't ask me to bite you, please. It's not gonna happen. She's a little damaged, isn't she?
But you know, when you are in a situation of panic, like drowning, and you know, your emotions get
Yeah, get higher.
Heightened.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Just
yeah, people
adrenaline.
that are in panic.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Adrenaline.
We'll even learn.
There's a study that they had women walk by a man just casually, like on a sidewalk, and they would ask him, or all these men that were tested on the same exact woman, how would you rate this woman's attractiveness? And so they get the average of her attractiveness to all these men on a sidewalk. Then what they do is they have a woman at the end of a bridge, and this bridge is very, very high up. It's very sketchy.
They put a gun to his head.
No.
And they say,
No. And they have the men walk across this very high bridge that would have your emotions heightened because it's sketchy, you're walking across, and they walk by the woman at the end, and then they ask these men, where would you rate her attractiveness? And they rated the woman much higher after a very heightened scenario.
Is this why people are into dark romance?
Ooh.
I'm
Bravo.
too fast.
both the most valid question and answer I've ever heard. So fast.
Now I understand.
It's for the.
But it's true.
We just had a revelation. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I got lost because, yeah, I think the movement of this chapter was very quick from the sexy hot springs, she's drowning, this romantic moment of the biting, right? She's like, you want to bite me here, here, here. And then she then has this really intimate conversation where she's asking him to go look for the diviners if she doesn't make it out. And he says he would do anything that she asked because she kind of had to be like, if I don't make it. He's like, no, you're going to make it. She's like, but if I don't make it, I need you to make this promise. And I think also the promise of finding a home for the gargoyle. I think that was another part of the thing. He's
Yes,
like, I would
yes.
do anything you ask. And
I think
then
there's
we have
something behind that, by the way. I
Oh,
think there's
finding a
something
home?
behind the behind the I will do anything you ask. I think there's
Ooh, what do
something
you think?
behind that. I don't know. First of all, I have kind of a theory that they were in the same orphanage, let's say, and that Rory remembers her, but she doesn't remember him. That's why he was so quick in like falling in love with her.
That makes sense.
But then
Sorry, just to like kind of give another argument. At some point, he says that he thinks that she's about the same age as him. So this is another that maybe we can leave
Mhm.
into we're both
Mhm.
fondlings at the same time.
yeah.
Did he
Sorry.
react to her name in a way that he was familiar with it?
He does get very shocked, but I don't know if it's
shocked because she said it.
Or if it's because
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He
Or
says
maybe
at
he
one
was
point
like-
he does not know her name. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, but when she says it, is it like,
Oh, it
Oh.
occurs to him. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
I don't.
Or maybe
Gosh,
it's
this is a good one. Good job.
Or maybe it's because maybe he could be shocked by her remembering her own name. And she could be like, and do you remember me? I don't know.
It's a good
Can't be
theory.
shocked. Yeah, it's a good theory. You can just be shocked because she knows and said actually her name
Mm-hmm.
after she said before that she didn't remember or whatever.
Yeah.
Or he can be shocked because of her actual name and he remembers her.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I guess we have to continue reading.
Good job.
Hopefully,
guys.
we have answers in the next 6, and we don't have to wait until there's another book.
Yes. Well,
No,
there has to be a cliffhanger, you know?
yes,
Definitely.
and
I think
there
at the
is.
end of this book, they get married and they adopt the gargoyle. And then they're just a happy family. The next book, they explain to us how the works. That's it.
Oh, the Lolo.
Is this a Lulu?
I like that. I'm going to run with it.
So it's after this whole conversation that he needs a moment.
Yeah.
He gets out of the water. So she heads back, and Maud and her having a conversation. And Maud gives her her mother's armor 2/6 for this fight tomorrow. And this is a really big deal because she might lose it.
Yeah. And she does. I was like, they don't mention it again, but they had,
No.
if I understood it correctly, they had to like extract her from the armor or something like that. And they ruined it.
Yeah, they broke the armor to free her when she was drowning
Yeah. Afterwards.
through her. Yeah.
But it was like, yeah, this super important thing. Yeah.
Yeah, good ruined. Nobody ever mentions it again. It's like,
Well,
Catch that they had to break it to get her out. Oh my
I
god.
think so. I think so.
I think it's when they she doesn't know. So we're going through her POV.
Yep.
So she's just listening outside. And she listens to Bartholomew, to the gargoyle, saying, he was really sweet. He was like, she always wakes up. Why is she not waking up? And then we hear Rory, I think, saying, open this up or crack this up. So I don't know if we are actually confirmed that they break the arm.
I would assume it is. Yeah, because if you have to crack it open and she's in so much pain on her chest and everything, because I took that as compressions, but still.
Well, it would be clasps,
Yeah.
though, right? Because there's
Oh, that's really
chainmail
sad.
underneath. It's rigid armor. I might also add, this is the third generation. Maud's the third generation to have this armor. It was her mom and then her mom before her. What sort of weak genes do these dads carry that all of these women just fit in the exact same armor? This is insane to me. Like they're all just the exact same.
I thought the armor was supposed to be a little big, and I guess that's where it got a little confusing why she had to do the beeswax thing for a very good fit.
Well, it's so Maud could.
No, that's not why.
but yeah, that's true. That doesn't really make sense. So why is 6 getting measured like to the tiniest detail, and then Moth can just fit in whatever
Her grandma
whatever
had laying
Her
around.
family, yeah.
yes.
Sexual
Yeah.
tension.
Yeah.
Yes,
Between
yes.
Maud
Between
and
two
6.
I actually don't know.
Oh, and it's in this chapter that we learn that the gargoyle is now her squire, which was
Yeah,
so
he was
cute.
so proud of that. He was so
He's the
proud.
best character in any
Mhm.
book we've read. I can't think of a character that I've enjoyed more than this gargoyle.
Because I think he ditches her at some point during the fight to go get her stuff. He's like, oh, he left. He's just like flying away, and then he flies back and saves the day.
I have questions about the gargoyle.
Yes.
Real quick. In, I think, the first several chapters, when she goes to meet the king, right, as the miners are disappearing, the gargoyle's wing is in fire and starts to burn, but the gargoyle has stone wings. The hell,
I
man?
don't think it was burning.
You said it was. He said that he was burning his wing, and then he brings up how, the odor is so pungent from this flower. And he's like, surely it's this flower. Surely it's that flower. You remember what I'm talking about?
I don't think it
Doesn't
did.
matter. It may not have ever happened. I may have made all of this up.
You dreamed,
Of the gargoyle.
obviously.
Fun fact, I don't know if you catch that, but the place is called Traum, which is dream in German.
I was like, oh my God, this has a meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. No,
That's neat. I didn't know that.
I would have never caught that.
Oh, so in my notes I have, so the gargoyle becomes a squire. She gets the armor from Maud, and she decides to wear both the shroud and the helmet during this fight.
Yes.
And she can still see fine, which I'm glad they said, because that would have really irked me a little bit of like, I don't believe her.
Seems like a lot to put over your eyes when it's also going to be rainy and cloudy. Like,
Yep.
I don't know what we're doing here.
And then I think this is also when they go out, they go to the coin room. He's not there, and they see the oarsman out on the water. And the gargoyle says Bartholomew doesn't know how to swim, but has always excelled at drowning.
He says that in my head. He says that so innocently and so like proud of her.
Yes.
It reminds me of a point earlier in the book where he's like, sadly, Bartholomew's not useful. But he was meant it in such a like, oh, it's okay. She's doing her best. Like, I really enjoy him.
With the mountain sprite, when that was showing up, he was just like, oh, look, it's coming our way.
He's perfect.
And they put this girl through 3 days of training, right?
Yeah.
Intensive days.
And then it's like, now you're ready to go.
I think it was more of a encouragement and like believing in her.
But
Than...
she didn't really fight before.
But I mean, they didn't have any other true thoughts. I thought they're just, trying to teach her something so she doesn't, she has at least 1% chance. Because they don't have any other choice. They agreed on that day and she has to fight. So they were like, we might as well teach her how to throw a punch. Maybe that's useful. Yeah.
Here's
and then she
a
does
dumb
romantic
question. Yeah, how do we feel about if they had instead taken a few hours in the afternoon to teach her to swim? Maybe.
But they didn't know. They didn't know that it was going to be in that place, which was like out of the
He's
blue.
the oarsman.
Yeah.
We could assume it might have to do with water, right?
Yes.
That's true.
3 hours was teaching her how to use shoes that she just put on in the last chapter.
That's true.
At least learn how to float. You don't
They
have
give
to
her water
learn.
wings when she shows up in the armor. Little floaties.
But I do like what Benji does. He calls out Maud for not having any faith in her. And I had to replay this a couple times because I was so taken aback that it was Benji saying this. And I have a little quote that is, you put your armor on her, now you put your faith in her.
Yeah, I really like that sentence as well.
And Rory's like, I tried. I like it. I think it's great. But also, Rory's 17 and really bad at being a king so far.
Benji.
Or I'm sorry, Benji's 17 bad at being a king. Rory, not known for his great decision making. Maud is the smartest person in the room. I think Maud has reason to be cautious. What?
Yeah, she wiped her. That's why she was. It makes sense. But I also don't know how I feel about Benji. I think we're gonna get to there, but I also don't about this last chapter, the chapter 24. I feel like I don't know.
He's gonna get drunk on power, right?
Kind of like that. Like he's reaching this point where he's using her, and all of them know it, and that's why Rory kind of steps up to defend her, saying like, yeah, or even the gargoyle says, you don't have to do it just to belong to something. Just think if you want to belong to it. But Benji is like trying to kind of force her hand in a way, and I didn't like that. It seemed like a powerful thing for me. So that I'm still until now I don't know if I like him actually.
I thought that people were going to think that too, but I read that chapter differently. When he first says that he doesn't think it might be a good idea for her to be a knight because people like to see her next to him as
what she represents.
Yeah. He first looked between her and Rory. So my thought was, it was mentioned that knights cannot be together.
I have that.
I agree. Rory said I would never cross that line. More or less, paraphrasing. She says, is there anyone you're interested in? Perhaps a knight. Rory says, we are not allowed to befuddle other knights.
And he looks between them before saying that.
Yeah, I think it was a mercy, too. I'm with you on that one.
When I was hearing this scene, I was also seeing a lot of disrespect to Benji, and that it's really wearing on him. And he does have his moment in that he kind of lashes out a little bit, and then everyone tells him how proud they are of him, except for the gargoyles. Like, he's going to have a better story than that before I'll go do it. But I see them all being very disrespectful to him, or even just how they constantly correct him all the time, that I do wonder if soon, like in this scene when he was knighting her that we're talking about, I think he does do well, but he even gets corrected as he's knighting her.
Well, he should quit being wrong. Problem solved.
Because, yeah, I just don't know if in the future he's going to flip in some way with wanting to be respected more. He kind of had a small moment.
Oh, I think, for example, if what you're saying is like right, and he wasn't, and he really wanted for her to share that vow that she was going to fight for him, it would be fair because he's fighting for the kingdom and for what his grandpa believed, and he's being criticized like constantly. Mm-hmm. And exactly. So I think he also would have a point in that, in saying like, why am I obliged to do all these things and you can't like make a vow to me? You know what I mean?
I agree.
They kind of glossed over it. She didn't make a vow to him in the end, right?
She said she would
only
not.
did 2.
Yeah.
She says yes to 2 things, but not the last one.
Yeah, but I don't know. Why would you be a knight and then refuse certain things? Doesn't she have to accept everything to be a knight? I didn't really understand that, honestly.
Well, she also supposed to be of wealthy families to be a knight, and there are exceptions.
So basically, anyone can be a knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just need to be special.
Yeah.
All we've really picked up on. But she's like, I haven't lived for me. I can't live for you.
I think she makes a vow to the kingdom instead of Benji and Mrs. Feiner.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that it?
I think it's something like you will protect the people, and you will not gain from protecting the people, something like that, or you will give priority to protecting the people instead of yourself or your own gain, something like that.
Yep.
Semantics.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Other than when Benji gets drunk on power, they need to overthrow him in the next book. She's recruiting the sprites because now Benji's kind of in charge of them, right? They've taken over the Omen's positions. They're going to have to guard the people from the sprites, but we're not seeing them take any proactive action to improve that relationship.
But are they responsible for the sprites? I could not figure out that relationship.
I think the idea of the Omens was to prevent the sprites from terrorizing the people, right? So if you've taken up the mantle of the Omen, you should be doing something to prevent the interaction being negative between the sprites and the citizens. So maybe they're like, hey, where the scribe guy was, let's give some paper to the sprites, chill them out a little bit because they like the paper. Like, we could do some outreach programs that weren't being done before to kind of bring these...
I wasn't taking them collecting all the items as to take on the Omen's role in any way. I thought they were kind of getting rid of that role. And I even wonder if the hammer and chisel are going to be used to destroy those items.
Agreed completely. But I'm saying as king, he still has an obligation to take care of the people in those places. And now there is no Omen to prevent the sprites.
But does he have power? Does he really have power? Because I don't see it. He's the one, he's just a show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's a figurehead.
Yeah.
It's kind of queen to prime minister sort of relationship. Is that sort of where we're at?
Because I think the king is technically above the abbess, but because the abbess has actual more power, she is technically above him. Because is that kind of part of his little tantrum that he had a little later? He's just like, I'm supposed to be this, but clearly it's not. The Omens have this and the abbess has this. I don't know if he said them, but that's what I was getting.
It's true, but half of our Omens are gone.
Yeah, they are now.
So we're down to the abbess and 2 Omens.
Yeah, I think 2 and
chime and the loom. No, we just got the chime, so it's just the loom and the moth.
I don't know until what point the sprites are totally related to the Omens, in the sense that they say that the knighthood are the ones who are starving the sprites.
Yeah, we did learn that.
So he's in charge of a knighthood, right? That's the
Yeah.
knights elected him king. So he could do some proactive thing to prevent this tumultuous relationship from worsening.
But what do they eat?
Depends on
Depends on
the sprite.
Ah, okay.
the river ones was paper, but the mountain ones were rocks. No.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And these ones were that is that
How could you be starving from rocks?
The people
He's
in the
made of rock,
hills
too.
were... Well, yeah, but the people in the hills were like hoarding that specific rock.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
They
feel
always
like he
hoard.
could divvy this out a little different.
But they hoarded them for the ceremonies for the king.
Yeah.
Whoa,
So why not
yeah.
give that stuff away? Be like, no, I don't need that. Why don't we feed these guys a little bit, quell some of the
I don't think
nonsense?
Benji feels that way. I think only Rory and now Six is feeling this way.
Well, then Benji sucks.
Yeah, I think that's what I've landed on now.
Or maybe he doesn't understand. He's 17 after all.
Yeah.
Right you are. Yeah, I suppose I got to give him the same leeway as I take away from him. Like, I can't be like, well, you're 17, you're being dumb. And then be like, well, you should have thought about this. You're 17. Be an adult. All right, fair.
Do you guys have any theories of how the book's going to end or any ideas of what the next chapters are going to be about?
Well, I have the opinion that this is going to be the cliche cliffhanger where she finds out that Rory is keeping her information from her, or that he is someone that and he didn't tell her, something about that. And we actually, before we joined, we actually talked about maybe the title being
Night of the Moth.
The Moth. Who are the men?
because now she's also a knight, and we were like, maybe he's the Moth, because she dreamed about a moth when he went when he was being divine.
In his divination.
Yeah,
Yeah. So maybe she's the knight, he's the moth.
he's the Moth. So it's actually, you start thinking a certain way when you start the book, but maybe it's the other way around.
We don't know what he doesn't have.
We don't know much of what the moth is. There was one little detail. The gargoyle is, I think, high on idleweed. No, it was the chime that was transporting his mind into these other places. And he's talking about how he saw the diviners and they all had a moth over them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, yeah. And I thought that was odd because I thought the moth was representing the abbess or the sixth omen, but it also has something to do with each of the diviners too.
Isn't it a symbol of death? I thought it was.
And life.
Oh,
Life
now I
and
feel
death,
dumb.
right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
No, I'm really
think
thrown
that-
off by that. Rory could be anything.
Yeah, at some point we just assume that we know Cyril, number 6, kind of assumes that the Moth is the abbess, but doesn't mean that she is.
Yeah.
Actually,
I was just gonna say that it just feels like the next chapter is gonna be steamy.
Yeah.
All I can say.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I can't predict the future. You'll have to read.
Maybe the gargoyle finds a love interest.
That would be amazing.
I'd love that.
See,
yeah,
there we go.
I do think, yeah, we're gonna have like one more fight scene.
Yes.
We're gonna confront the abbess. Probably. We're gonna find out the truth about the gargoyle.
Maybe in the second book.
Maybe.
Oh.
Maybe this is just wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I really
I mean,
like.
the first chapter is about Bartholomew, so maybe,
Yeah, and it starts like, yeah,
maybe,
I'm telling you a story, but you don't remember it.
yeah,
So
maybe.
it seems like that would be kind of the conclusion of the book. But you're also right. It's a duology.
Yeah. Yeah, they have to keep something.
They have.
But
Yeah.
it's confirmed that it's going to be a duology.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Will you be reading the second one?
It depends on how it ends.
I don't think I
Okay.
will. I don't think I will.
What
I
if
don't
it's just
like-
nonsense left? What if there isn't anything else out there? You're just like, gosh, man, it's a desert of content. This blows. Well, the second
I think
night
that
the Moth
question's
book
good.
came out. Honestly,
for
it's
me?
for all of you.
I'll read it anyway. So
You prefer this genre, though, right?
yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if it ends on a big cliffhanger, I would read it just to get some answers. and I kind of like the story and also the world building. So I would be interested to read more if there is no satisfying conclusion. But if there is, and it's gonna be a bunch of nonsense, just a dragged plot, maybe I will not. So that's why I'm saying it really depends on them.
Yeah.
I will ask the girls what they thought about the book, like the second one. And I'm not gonna read it. It's just
That's fair.
no. Yeah.
I feel like we always come in disagreement. Like whenever we have the first book of a series in our book club, there's always one of us that doesn't get and then we're like, oh, let me know what you thought about it.
I see us reading it, or at least me making Ryan if he doesn't feel like doing it. But it's not as big of a commitment if I knew it's a 5-book series type of thing. It's like, oh, it's only one book. If I'm enjoying it, I'm loving it. I really like the writing. Next, we're going to be doing One Dark Window because I was enjoying this so much and I like the writing style. So I see myself reading it and especially not feeling overwhelmed by, well, if I get into the second book, then I have to make the decision about, am I going to read the third book? But now after hearing your guys' ideas on the next chapters, there's only 6 left and it has to deal with at least one spicy scene and defeating 2 more omens. That's a lot, I think, for 6 chapters.
Well, one
And
omen and at least
conclusion.
introducing the conflict of the abbess, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think probably they're going to save the abbess for the second book.
Yes.
Oh.
I agree. Do you not have to read it because I have to finish everything? I have, listen, real commitment issues. If I start something, I'm like, oh, I'm going to see this through.
This is why I have a problem with series. I don't
Yes.
like to start series because I kind of have this commitment thing. I want to finish stuff, but I'm so afraid of not liking the second or the third or the fourth book. And then I prefer to read standalones. It's a finished thing, you know?
I like,
I don't
I'm with
wanna-
you. Other than there's some like Mistborn where there's more to it, but it's not a requirement. It's just cozy. It's great. It's perfect.
I would like to tell you that I tried to read One Dark Window twice.
I've heard that some people will like one or the other. Like they were shocked that they liked The Night and the Moth because they didn't like One Dark Window. And then people were like, oh, I love the other duology, but this was not it.
Yeah, One Dark Window, I don't know. It was slow. It didn't grab me at all. I just DNF'd it twice. I tried twice and I couldn't, so just...
Ouch. I do think moving forward, I'm going to be quicker on making a judgment, though. Because rather than getting 50% of the way, I was like, oh, the signs were there that I kind of knew I was going to feel this way and make that snap decision sooner. And I was just learning from it instead of kind of continue committing to a book that I'm not feeling interested in.
I have a question for you guys. Now that you're reading, let's say, different genre than fantasy, that you're going through the grandma's books. And I'm not sure what's the genre that you're reading. Smutty romance? Is that it?
I want you to look to your right and ask them what it is. I don't know.
It's
so I kind of wanted to ask, like, are you enjoying it? Do you prefer this type of reading over reading fantasy series, or is kind of more less the same?
Ryan is kind of being drugged into some of this or pushed into things, but I'm really liking it. I would say like our main book club stuff, I'm going to keep going this way. And then I see these trending books or like it's blowing up on Book Talk and it's like, I don't have time to read any of them, even if I would like them, wouldn't like them. So I'm like, Ryan, you have so much time. Can you please read this book for me and then tell me about it? And his grandma found out that we have this podcast that we're reading romance books. We don't get into too many details, but and she's like, oh my gosh, I have all these books and those ones I could very quickly get through them. And it was kind of combining the 2 bits of it. So to answer your question of going into these other genres, kind of what's going on with them, it is purely just feeling left out of not being able to have time to read those books and making him do it.
Are you enjoying it? it sounds like you're, being pointed a gun and forced to read it.
If you explain link if you need help.
Are you okay? Yeah,
He's
please.
Seriously.
Some of them are, I think I just really enjoy talking with Adrian. So rewarding and fun to just kind of get to sit there with her that I would fucking read the thesaurus and just to talk with her about it. The books themselves are often not rewarding to me as a reader. Like I read, I didn't realize like A Touch of Darkness is a beloved book for some reason. I read it and thought it was like a little indie book that somebody threw together in a weekend. And I was like, well, they really tried and it was awful, but good for them. Then I learned there's like 14 of them. It's the worst.
It's a big series. There's 500,000 plus reviews on Goodreads. I'm like, no, that's a popular book. He's like, oh, my bad.
It's really, really awful. Don't waste your time with it. If it was as a reader, so I do 3 books a week, roughly, because I work often by myself. So audiobooks, I can do that while I'm working. So I do one for me, which is generally something not fantasy, not romance. I like documentary stuff or things that make me think. I enjoy. And then I do one for the podcast. And then sometimes I just like doing one to just get to talk to her about it, something she might enjoy. And so I think that's where books are like anything else, right? I mean, the entertainment isn't solely based off the content of the book. It's how you're going to experience it or discuss it later. So I don't really care what I read. It's all good.
That's such a good point. Like, so many books I wouldn't read if these girls didn't, talk to me about them, or I didn't get to talk with them about these books. And it's really cool. Wholesome moment right now.
Bath to penises.
That's right. That's like the whole point of our book club, because we're trying to read different genres like that each other likes, and I would never read these books if not with you and for you, and then to discuss them with you.
Yeah, that's true.
We're reading Dream Count by Shimamanda right now, and okay, maybe I would pick it up,
I think
but
you
usually
would be between us, I think you would be the first to pick it up.
Okay, that's true. But it wasn't one suggesting it.
Yeah, I know.
But there are other books that we're reading, and usually I wouldn't continue reading this one, by the way, for example. But then, everyone is reading, so it's fun.
Same.
And that's
On that we agree.
one of the things that I love about your podcast is when me and Ryan both listen to it and then we come back and is the variety of books that you guys are reading. It is a huge swing from one book to the other. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I think there's also, for example, you guys do mostly romantasy.
Yep.
And there's a bunch of podcasts that do this, that stay with a specific theme. But there's also a bunch like us, I guess, that just jump around. And we're just trying to jump around and don't
we're trying and see what's out there.
Because that's what we
And
used to do
trying-
before. When I was alone, not in the book club, I would read my genre mostly, and that's
Exactly.
it. And then
Exactly. So I think it's good. So, for example, Rena gets a little bit out of her romance. And I get a bit out of my fantasy, and she gets a little bit out of her coming of age and literary fiction. Yeah. So I think it's good.
What is the book? Obviously, it's probably going to be a different answer for each of you. What is the book that you think of when you think of a book that you would not have read or do not think you would have imagined yourself enjoying, that you've come across that just defied your expectations?
Drive your plow over the bones of her bed is my first answer, because if I was alone, I would never pick up that kind of book. But it ended up surprising me a lot. I wouldn't have picked it up if not for the book club.
Mhm.
And I also enjoyed the discussion we had about it a lot, and it even made my rating higher after discussing. So, yeah.
For me, it was Fourth Wing. I would not pick it up, but then I was addicted. It was not healthy. It was not healthy. I couldn't put that book down.
True. For me, it was my grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry by Frederick Beckman. I would have not picked it up, and I loved it, and it made me want to explore more of the author. And now, I bought I bought a few of his books.
Anxious People.
I bought Anxious People, and I read The Answer Is No.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. And are any of
So
you
it gets-
surprised to hear these things from one another, or you guys pretty much know?
Yeah, I know she loved Fourth Wing, and that she would have not picked it up if not for us.
I was surprised at
Yeah.
myself.
And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that you liked Drive Your Plow into the Bones, but
Over the Bones.
Over the Bones.
It's a
Over the dead,
mouthful.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I understand that you would have not picked it up. Yeah.
I was surprised that you liked it because we talk about this. Like sometimes you're not so into that type of book. Yeah. Are we boring you? I'm
Not
sorry.
even a little bit.
No, we love this because we are kind of in our own genre for the majority, especially with me because I don't have near as much time to listen to all these books. So getting to hear you guys talking about it, hearing about the differences, and I think it's amazing. We should probably get going soon. This is a great note to end on with all the questions. This is good.
Do you guys have a preference on how you guys are introduced on our episode?
No.
I was going to let Ryan do most of it. I am.
You can even roast us. You can
Yeah.
just do
Go ahead.
the girl from
worst.
the ice planets.
The girl from the Ice Planet Barbarians book would be a wild way to introduce.
Yeah, no, feel free to do what you want.
Do you know these jokes like
No.
I don't know, maybe this is very a Portuguese person walks into a bar
Yeah.
and three different people walk into a bar and there's this whole thing
Yeah.
about them.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of our concept, like
Yeah.
a fantasy lover, a romance girly, a literary fiction
Individual.
Walk into a bar.
podcast
Yeah, walk into the podcast.
to read each other's genres.
And they're still discussing them. Yeah.
Till then, oh,
Until, and they're
Okay.
still
Don't agree. So it's better if you guys do the bit.
I really liked that.
Well, thank you guys for coming on and joining us and joining our book club. I love it because I got a little bit of a serious answer on some of my questions, which I really love, and getting to hear different ideas instead of Ryan's quips. And I'm just like, wait a minute, no. No, but really, I really love and appreciate that you guys joined us. And I hope that you guys have an amazing weekend.
Thank you.
It's over. It's Sunday night for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah.
I hope you guys did have an
Thank-
amazing weekend.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for letting
Thank
us
you.
third wheel. It
Yep.
was really fun. And we can't wait to do this episode, when you come to our
Yes.
podcast. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
I will work on my language in the meantime.
Yeah.
I promise.
Just have a little beep
You don't
every
need to.
time.
Yeah. The podcast is going to be beep, 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 beep.
No, but we also have episodes where we are not family friendly. So feel free, really.
Open your legs and close your books. It's over. Thank you guys for supporting us. It's been a good time. If you'd like more,
Follow us here, TikTok or Instagram. Fable, if you want to join our book club. Patreon, if you want episodes early.
drop it on Tuesdays if you're into that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah. Episodes are releasing on Tuesdays. If there's a two-parter, it's going to be on Thursdays.
We accept 5-star reviews and nothing less. If you leave something less, you're a motherfucker.
No! Honest reviews.
Not that honest. Only leave a review if you're willing to be a 5-star honest person. Should we come up with something mean to say to him on the way out? I kind of want to pick on him.
No, I
don't
won't
want
say
that,
love
dude.
you. Bye.
Oh, you can tell him that you love him.
Okay.
I won't.
Love you guys before Ryan bullies you out of here.
I'm fine with most of you. I love you, bye. Also, I want to compliment you guys on the most recent one you guys put up. You guys do such a good job interacting with authors. It really comes off like it's just old hat. for you guys.
Yes.
I listened to it and I was so thoroughly entertained. I think I'm going to actually try to pick up that book because it
Oh.
was so well done. And even the way that she interacted was so natural. I don't know how much you guys had to do in editing for that,
nice.
but she did a wonderful job also.
Yeah.
she was maybe until now like the one that was most
Interactive.
interactive and comfortable. Well,
Yeah, she was
her
great.
theater background kind of showed through there, I
Yeah.
think, a bit.
Mhm.
She did a wonderful job. But you guys
Okay.
did
But that's-
wonderfully.
Thank you so much. This is great to hear because I usually don't look back into the video episodes because I cringe seeing my own face. So it's great
That's why I
to
don't
hear.
watch TikTok. I don't want to be a part of that.
You don't want to see your own face. Same.
I watch, so it's fine.
You had to cut it, so
Yeah.
you didn't really have a choice. Okay, we're not going to
Guys,
hold you
good night.
longer. Good
Thank
night.
you. Have a great day.
Good day.
Good day for you.
Have a great lunch.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Yes.